for any sort of new media artist, or artists working with technology in general, is the problem of choice. Um, what are you going to use? What do you think would do the most justice to what you have in mind? Or um, a lot of times, this is a problem that I face, and a lot of problems that a lot of artists that we work with, we see this happen, is that you get enamored by the tool, right? The first time you use Photoshop, if you're an artist who's only drawing, and the first time you use it, and you suddenly realize, oh, I can do object selection, and just like, it kind of disappears. You, uh, the issue becomes that unless you're able to be so familiar with the tool, or you have the clarity of thought to go beyond what the power of the tool is, or what the power of that technology is. Um, Up until that point, for me, at least personally, I'm only just experimenting. Like up until that point, I wouldn't be able to say for sure that, oh, this is a piece of work that I think is not complete, but at least gotten to the point that I want it to be. Um, it's only when I go beyond, and for me, at least personally, like I'm really interested, and I like working with the gut. Like you kind of have to go with what you feel is right, which becomes a little difficult considering I work with video and sound. Sound, again, it's universal. Like everybody kind of gets it and understands it. But the thing with video and motion itself, right? Like it takes a good amount of time to understand what it's doing, what its effect is. So if I'm going to use a philosophical concept, or if I'm going to use, I mean, you said spirituality, but I wouldn't say that, but let's say street wisdom. If I'm going to use that and try and bring it out, for me, what has worked is my voice. What has worked is music. It's not always the cool technology that I'm using to make the final output. It might be projection mapped, it might be audio reactive, interactive, but it's still like the basis for me, at least, is in the voice, is in the sound that I use. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Thank you. Um, and I even use mediums like letterpress machines, which are like 150 years old. So for me today, I don't think there's a dearth of technology, but as an artist, it's important for me to find the right things and right context to respond to is more important. And science to me has been very interesting, and to bring out ideas in science, like ideas of objective truth and how my subjective truth relates to that, is very important to me. I can use plasma balls or I can use projection mapping, but what I'm bringing out is more important in a sense. So I don't know if there's a solution. And one thing I think today, talking about DIY and artists becoming, like talking about technology and technologists talking about art, I know this artist friend of mine who was an engineer, and he worked with artificial intelligence and machine.
The problem of choice. What are you going to use? What do you think would do the most justice to what you have in mind? Or a lot of times, this is a problem.
More, or having maybe more events and more discussion which are related to this, but then I don't know who wants to add anything.
Yeah, just to follow up on that. I mean, there's been a lot of talk about the Anthropocene, about people becoming like having chips in their heads and all this kind of stuff. There are different ways of looking at this. I mean, from my point of view, I mean, when we were talking about the first question, I mean, very often you have an idea to do something, and it might not be technically possible at that moment. And then you meet someone, and you say, hey, can you do this? And they say, yeah, I can do that. And you go, great. Now I can build this thing. So, I mean, if they have good programming knowledge, or they're able to use sensors in a particular way, or they're able to do a certain thing, then obviously, as an artist, you can be in the situation where you kind of commission them, if you like. You're the one in the driving seat, and you say, if you can do this, that would be really great, and then we can make this amazing thing together, and we'll be a great collaboration, or so on. Obviously, the other way around is that there's another relationship where
that you want to bring out through art. I think Bangalore is a great place for that because technology and art are, there is a big gap, but I see institutions like the Science Gallery, Bengaluru, and a lot of other science institutions, Bangalore being the science and technology capital of India. It's a great place for at least new media art, even though we are like a bit behind when in our understanding on and the number of artists practicing new media art. I think we are like things are happening here and at different places in the city also. So I think it's just a matter of people meeting each other, artists and technologists alike.
Thank you so much. Thank you everyone who is present here. My heart is thanks to everyone. So we will end the session now, and everyone will have this sheet and a pen. You please leave your signatures with your remark, with all the feelings you have right now. Anything, any idea, suggestion, feedback, anything. You have a canvas sheet and a color pen with you. And I would like to thank all of you. Thank you so much. Thanks a lot. I request for a group.